What's up, guys? So, this is stream number 35 for me. So, the last 34 streams, we built up a custom web server in C++ with a couple plugins. Did I say plugins twice? Anyway, plugin number one was a static content plugin, so providing HTML files and that kind of thing. And the second plugin was a chat room, which I made in order to test out WebSockets, which I'm going to use later with Twitch and other things. So I've accumulated a lot of little bugs and issues here and there. I thought I might take today's stream to go through and hunt them all down and clean things up and make some improvements here and there, fill in some missing things, that sort of thing. So I have accumulated quite a list here of all the things to hit. I don't know if I'll get through them all. Some of them are big, some of them are small. We'll see. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm changing my schedule. You might have noticed it in the Streamlabs schedule countdown. I'm moving towards for me, a day stream type thing where I go 3 or 4 hours every day from noon my time. And that's going to be starting on Wednesday. So I'm not actually streaming tomorrow or Tuesday, but starting Wednesday. The reason for that is my current job is coming to an end, and so I'll be here working on consulting probably, but not having to commute, which is going to be a nice thing, and able to do streaming during the day. So that's going to be the schedule for a while. Let's see if I can keep up with it. I don't know if I can do every day, but if I keep it to like 3 hours or so, it's probably sustainable. So anyway, we're going to be hitting a lot of projects here, starting with the chat room and WebSockets, and then getting into JSON, getting into some of the older libraries we were working on, kind of working my way back. But what I did was I went through the different logs here of each stream, and I keep notes. For example, let's find one like this one where I wrote down a note on stream 28 saying that there's no way to get diagnostics from the transport layer up, and never got around to fixing that. So that made it here somewhere here. So I went through all 34 previous streams and kind of collected together things I could work on now. So let's get started. See if I have my windows up and running. Right. I'll show you guys what we have done recently. So we have a custom web server in C++ with a couple plugins here. You can see I don't know if I can increase the font size in this guy, but I probably can. How do I do this? Properties, font, let's make it 28. All right, that's much better. So you can see our server loads, it finds and loads plugins. And if I pull up a web browser client, hold on, and show you, we have a React-based app running, served by Node.js on localhost 3000. And this is our chat room client. I call it Chatter. Let's move it over here. And let's make 2 instances of it. Localhost 3000. Okay. Move this up here. Move some of this stuff around so you can see a little bit better. Actually, I'm going to put the clients over here. And the server. Oh, we don't need to see debug, so we can actually make these shorter so you can see what's going on. There we go. So, perfectionistically lining things up here. So if let's say you have one guy connecting with a name and you have someone else just lurk, you can see both clients end up connecting to the server from different port numbers, and one of them sets their nickname to Bob, the other one doesn't. And if Bob says something like, hello, you'll see the message show up on both clients. And let's say the second person who was lurking before sets their nickname. Now they show up in both places and they can say, hi there. And then if you disconnect, they leave the room. So that's all that we have set up so far. It's pretty simple, but it's based on a lot of stuff that I wrote from scratch. So the chat room is using WebSockets, which these clients are connected to, and the WebSockets are using connection objects and using protocols like to set up WebSocket to use HTTP. So all that stuff I wrote in the last 34 streams, and actually I have all of them archived if you're curious to look at them. But anyway, there are some bugs, so let's go and look at them. So we'll be hitting Control-C and stopping our web server. First up, we have a deadlock between chat room and WebSocket. So I was noticing this before. It's a little bit difficult to recreate, so I'm not going to try to do that right now, but I'll show you what the bug essentially is. It's right here. This is in the worker thread of the chat room. And what happens is when the worker thread finds, where is it? Let's see. Finds that a user connection is no longer open, so it's been closed. It's supposed to go move it over to a closed users list, a vector, and then remove that user from the chat room. And if there are no other connections using the same name, then it will go and send a message to all users in the room saying that the user left. The problem here is this send text call to the WebSocket of each user. This is being called while we're holding on to this mutex, which locks the whole chat room. The problem is that this send text also gets a mutex here. So each WebSocket has its own mutex. So if you think about the outer inner order, this worker thread is assuming that the WebSocket's mutex is the inner mutex. So it's locking the chat room and then locking the web server is the order, right? Or the WebSocket. So chat room first, then WebSocket. Problem is if on the other side, when a WebSocket, let's see, data receive message, it's one of these. Yeah, so every WebSocket set up to call a callback or a delegate whenever a text message comes in. And our delegate in the chat room is called receive message. And receive message, it gets the lock. The problem is this text delegate, if you look at where it's called inside the WebSocket, it's called from on text message, which is called from the receive frame, which is called from receive data, which gets the WebSocket's lock. So basically the order of the mutexes is reversed here. The WebSocket is locked first, but when it sends a text message to the chat room then tries to get the chat room mutex. And you can see the problem. Thread A is getting mutexes 1 and 2. Thread B is getting mutexes 2 and 1. If they happen simultaneously, they're going to block each other. So I think the solution I want to take in this case is to ensure that the chat room is locked last. And so we need to fix the one place where it's sort of backwards. And I think actually there's a couple places here. No, actually that one's okay. Unsubscribe from diagnostics you can call anytime because it doesn't grab the mutex. But this send text does. So what I think I want to do is do this loop and that send in this kind of a thing where we unlock the chat room first. We can't unlock the chat room while we're iterating users because then incoming connection requests can mutate users and then we lose our place. But we can do this, we can do a trick here. The trick is to make a copy of the users. Auto users copy equals users. And then unlock the mutex and iterate the user's copy. So this section of code will run without having the chat room locked. So we have to make sure we don't use anything in the chat room state. The only thing we're using is this copy of the users. The worst thing that can happen here is you might get a message sent to a user after they've left the room, which is fine because if I go to user, oh, hold on. I don't think this will compile because the WebSocket is a part of a user. Yeah, so we're gonna, I think in order to make this compile, I'm gonna need to make this a shared pointer. So yeah, if I try to compile this now, I bet you it will not compile. It'll say that the user's, yeah, attempting to use a deleted function, which is the copy constructor for a user. So yeah, in order for this to work, we're going to need to make that WebSocket a shared pointer because we need to share it between the user in the room and the copy of the user's record in the room. So yeah, like I was saying before, the worst case is we might be accessing WebSocket and trying to send a message after it's been closed. But the WebSocket will just, in that case, sort of discard the message anyway. So make this a shared pointer so that we can make a copy of a user record. And all the places where we use the WebSocket, we just have to dereference the shared pointer now. So all these places, all the places, right? All the places where we use WebSocket, we are now dereferencing the WebSocket pointer. And then one more thing. This is where we add a user to the room, and we do it with this trick where if you index a map with a key that's not in the map, it actually creates a new entry. So the new entry will have a default WebSocket, which was fine before because it was just a WebSocket, but now it's a pointer to WebSocket, which means it's going to point to null at first. To fix that, we have to make shared a WebSocket's WebSocket. I think that's all we need to do, though. Let's try this out. Should compile now, and then I can run. Let's see. I'm going to keep this shell up for our Node.js to host our web app. Instead, I'll make a new shell here to run our unit tests. So build C test. It's going to run all of our test suites, including the ones we didn't change. But I like to get an all-inclusive view of what's going on. So everything's passing. So we didn't break anything, and hopefully now the race condition's fixed. I won't really know until I see that it's not fixed, because it's really hard to prove that you've fixed a race condition through testing, unless you were to completely mock threads and time and all that in order to recreate the exact timing. So I like to kind of be optimistic and assume that I fixed the deadlock or race condition until I see that I'm wrong. It's maybe not the strictly correct way of doing things, but it's sort of a trade-off between how much time are you going to sink into your test framework to catch absolutely every bug versus doing other useful things. So 80-20 rule, right? You spend as much time doing the last 20% as you would have done to do the first 80%. I probably horribly mangled that saying, but it's the thought that counts. All right, so here's the essential change, right? We make a copy of the user map, unlock our mutex, send our text messages, and then relock when we're done. Yeah, whenever that you see that overlay, it's usually someone's coming and going in the house, and our dog likes to bark at that. Fix deadlock between chat room and between room and WebSocket. And here I want to kind of put in a note to remind myself if I ever look at this commit again that, let's see, how do I want to word this? Set the following rule. Chat room mutex is inferior to WebSocket mutex. In other words, never do anything while holding the room mutex that might... Oh, let's move this clause here. When holding the room mutex, never do anything that might try to lock a WebSocket mutex. So that's what you want to do when you have multiple mutexes in a program, is assign how each one is in relation to the others in terms of which can be held while trying to lock the others. If you have multiple threads and you don't do this, you get deadlocks, and sometimes they're really hard to track down. Okay. Okay, so that's one bug down, hopefully. Although admittedly, it might not have been solved. We'll see later. Next one, chat room. Changing your nickname results in a join of the new nickname, but no leave of the old one. Perhaps fold together into nickname changed instead. Okay, so let's look at that. That's in our chat room plugin, so that's when it handles the set nickname. So yeah, it'll go into here if either there's no record of the nickname or the password matches what was given. So we have this already in room flag. And if they're not already in the room, you'll get a join. Okay, that's not what we were seeing. Changing a nickname results in a join of the new nickname. Oh, right, this is if the new nickname isn't already seen in the room, you'll see a join. Right, so we only send a join, we don't send a leave of the old one. So let me show you what this actually looks like. Localhost 3000. So if we have like Bob, oh, I need to actually run the server, don't I? Run the server, please. So if we have Bob join the room, and then we just change it to Bobby, there's the problem. We see Bobby joins, but Bob's still there. So let's fix this problem. Actually, I'm curious what happens if I stop the server and the client is still running. I guess we don't have that detected in here, right? We don't have it that... Let's add that to the list. Chat room. Or really, it's Chatter, which is our React app. Connection. What does it say? WebSocket status still shows connected even if web server shut down. We'll get to that. So I think the way I want to handle this number 2 bug here is instead of doing a leave the old one and join a new one, I'll have a new one called nickname changed. I'm just stopping to think, what if someone is using the same nickname in more than one client? I think I should change it in all of them, right? So we'll have a test for that. So since this is C++ code, I am able to use my test framework, which is based off of Google tests. So let's make a test case for it. Unless I already have one. Okay, I don't. So let's make a new one called change nickname. Okay, so we already have a couple of different WebSockets open. So we'll set it to Bob initially. Set nickname to Bob initially. And we don't need to worry about test checking that. But I will copy this stuff, because then change nickname to Bobby. And we'll do this. So it's the same thing, set nickname again. So I think what we'll expect is two things. Set nickname result sent back to Bob, or now Bobby. And let's have some kind of, well, hold on. Let's clear messages received for the first two WebSockets. In this framework we have 3 WebSockets connected to the chat room, or 3 different users, so that we can play around with different combinations. So in this test we'll just use the first 2. The first 0 being Bob and the 1 being some kind of lurker, because we haven't set a nickname. So Bob will get back a set nickname result of success true. And I think we also want to see not a join or a leave, but a new kind of message. Yeah, let's also check the diagnostic message still shows up. So we'll clear diagnostic messages. Yes. Okay. So we'll say nickname changed. And let's say old nickname is Bob. New nickname is Bobby. And we'll expect it to change from Bob to Bobby. And let's have it expect this nickname change from both Bob and the lurker, that they both see that. Okay. Actually, Bobby's going to see there's two responses. There's 2 messages that they should expect, right? So how am I going to do this? Make this one a 2 or something? And then put this up here, and then say expected response 2. But then the lurker should only see the second one. Oh, I already had it copy. We can change these to expects also. There's no reason. The difference between an assert and an expect in Google test is an assert will stop the test if it fails. Expect will continue. So if It's better to continue if you can. That way you can see all the problems, not just the first one. So I'm going to set this up while it's building to do web server. Oh, wrong shell. Web server, chat room plugin debug, chat room plugin tests. And there we go. So it's their change nickname is failing. So it's only getting the set nickname result success true. And the lurker is seeing a join for Bobby. So that's the current erroneous behavior. Now we get to go fix the plugin to make our test pass. So in other words, test-driven development. We made the test first to illustrate the problem, and then we go change the code to make the test pass. So right, here we go. This is what we want to send if the user wasn't in the room before. So we should do a check for that. I think this is the check we want. Or is it? Actually, it's if the nickname was not a lurking nickname, right? Which means I should probably have a test. We should have a test where if they clear their nickname, then they become a lurker. And that would be a leave, right? Let's do that right now. So we'll put in both tests. Change nickname non-lurker. Actually, there's 3 cases, right? Go from lurking to not lurking. Not lurking to not lurking with just a different name, and then lurking, non-lurking to lurking again. Change nickname non-lurker to non-lurker. So that's 1, 2, 3. Lurker to non-lurker, non-lurker to lurker. So lurker to non-lurker, we just don't set it to be Bob initially. Actually, we don't need this test because this is the same as a join. So let me remove this. Oh, wait. No, this is going to be it's not the same as a join, right? Or should join check to make sure that if Bob joins the room? No, never mind. My brain is going down avenues of what ifs and not reaching to the end before I stop speaking. I have to get out of that habit. Only speak in completely formulated thoughts. Lurker to non-lurker, that's just a join. Non-lurker to lurker we don't actually have yet. So that would be change nickname to Bob, and then set nickname to Bob, and then change nickname to blank, which is become a lurker. So there we would say, and we'll just say that password is not required to lurk. You'll get a success, and then we'll get a leave. Nickname Bob. Change from Bob to blank. Okay. So now we have those 2 tests. The second test, non-lurker to lurker. These both start with non-lurker, so we'll just make the name of the test a little bit shorter. Or not, because yeah, okay. We'll leave it to be descriptive. So in the case changing it from a non-lurker to a lurker, we should be seeing a set nickname. Instead, we're seeing a leave. And why is this showing empty? Did I not put something in response to? How can it show expected response? Oh, yeah. That was a bug. Probably in both places, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the other lurker should have seen Bob leave. Bob sees himself as a set nickname result true. Oh, okay, right now we're getting a false. So it's not actually allowing us to even set the nickname, probably because we're not setting a password, right? So Bob should be able to become a lurker by setting the nickname to empty string with no password, but right now it's saying, no, you can't change your nickname to empty string because you didn't send the password. The lurker should see a leave, but they're not seeing anything. All right, back to fixing code. So first things first, we'll handle this changing non-lurker to non-lurker. We have old nickname. So we'll just do something special if it's if old nickname empty is the join, right? Else it's not a join, it is a nickname change. Nickname changed, right? And then we have old nickname and new nickname. Old nickname, new nickname. Okay, the order is different, so let's fix that. Is that what I want? I guess so. So we see the nickname change and then we see the success. $8.46. I mean 8:43. Reading it wrong. It's not seeing the nickname changed. Did I not do that right? Ah, right. We had this condition where we don't want the person to see their own join, but well, actually we don't need I can remove this so that the set nickname result is not sent. Actually, that simplifies things here because I can just fold these so that both Bob and the other lurker just see the nickname changed. Oh no, sorry, that's wrong. That's wrong. Bob sees set nickname result of success true, and the lurker sees the nickname change. This condition is not quite right though, because it's not that they're using the wrong nicknames, right? There's actually a couple of different problems. If Bob is logged in for multiple WebSockets, we want to change all of them, don't we? I think so. Yeah, so let's build that into our test. So we will hold on. Actually, this can move down to here. Set nickname to Bob initially on 2 separate connections. So we'll use 0 and 2. change nickname to Bobby. And then we'll see the set nickname result on 0, but on both 1 and 2, we kind of want to see the nickname change. And I think I want to throw in here also that if we send the tell from either 0 or 2, we'll see that it comes from Bobby. So verify nickname of Bob really did change to Bobby for both of Bob's. Both connections using that nickname. So form a new message. New message. Type tell howdy. And then from 2, we'll say, hey guys. And then let's clear diagnostics messages. Oh, hold on. Never mind. We will make 2 responses again. And we'll, from the lurker's point of view, well, that should have been a 2, shouldn't it? From the lurker's point of view, so clear what they were seeing before. Be 2 responses. Type tell is, actually I guess we can, well, we'll keep them as separate. We'll keep the message separate from the expected response just in case the content of the message changes. Right now, it just so happens the message to the chat room and the message that comes back to everyone happens to be the same. But it might not be in the future, so I'll keep them separate objects here. So we'll expect, oh, actually they are different, aren't they? It's sender. It includes a sender. And that's the important part, because we want to see that it says Bobby for both of them, even though the change to the nickname only came from 1 connection. Right. So right now, for Bob's second connection, it gets a, oh, that's because I didn't clear. I need to clear all 3 at this point. Yeah, so the tells are wrong. We see that the second connection doesn't inherit the nickname. Actually, why am I getting the nickname twice? That should just be nickname, shouldn't it? And I'm already iterating the room here. Why not just change the nickname? What was user entry? Oh, I see. Yes. We need to keep that. But if we see the old nickname in more than 1 place, we'll change it in all places. And we just want break there. So let's see if that's right. Not quite. It still says Bob. Oh, this is message received 1. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Doesn't quite work. Oh, yeah, this is different, isn't it? This is if we try to switch to a new nickname. Why am I doing this, actually? It doesn't really matter, does it? Actually, this will happen if, like, you log in from one client as Bob, another one as Bobby, and then go back to the first one and you change it from Bob to Bobby. That should actually look like a leave, shouldn't it? Does that mean I should have another test case for that? I think so. To non-lurker, not already in room, and then one for already in room. Already in room. Set nickname to on 2 separate connections. Set nickname to Bobby initially on third connection. We'll change the numbers around. We'll make it Bob on 0 and 1 and Bobby on 2. Password 2. Reuse that message. Change nickname to from Bob to Bobby. That should look like a leave of Bob, actually. Expect, and then we'll expect a leave. Just to check, a leave looks like nickname, right? Yeah. So leave Bob. Because Bobby's already in the room. This Bob gets folded into Bobby. So from 0, we should expect success. From 1 and 2, we should expect a leave, right? I think so. I think that's right. Let's make it say, instead of changed from Bob to Bobby, actually, no, we can keep that. We can keep that. Yeah, so all the tests are set up, but I still haven't fixed the actual code. If the new nick, so we actually have some logic to handle there. That's if the old nickname is not empty. The new nickname is already in the room. We only want to leave if the old nickname, okay, that means there's a third combination, right? So this is if, actually this is, it's Bob on 2. We want another one where Bob is only logged in once. Check, change nickname. I'll make it a special case called fold. Change nickname folds to connections. Set nickname to Bob initially on 1 connection. Like that. Set nickname to Bob initially on 2nd connection. Like that. Change nickname from Bob to Bobby. So yeah, here we expect the leave of Bob because there's no more connections with Bob in it. And we don't need this stuff here. In the case where they're on two separate connections, though, we won't see a leave. We'll expect to see nothing. And then we don't need this. This we only had, or do we want that? Yeah, okay, that's the test of where it changed on both, right? Yeah. Okay. 888. Yeah, so this is getting ambiguous, so let's rename it. New nickname already in room, and let's have it capture for both. Old nickname already in room. These are all new, right? And we'll also, instead of breaking, I guess we need to look at all of them. If nickname equals old nickname, so we need it up here. Actually, let's make that a counter, because we have different logic depending on if it was the last or not. Old nickname in room count equals 0. And we will just advance it. We have to be careful if they set their nickname to an empty string, though. Count. Well, okay, no, we don't need to. We don't need a comment, do we? Where is my chatty window? There it is. Okay. Okie doke. So there's one change. Okay, so it's if it's already in, if we find the old nickname elsewhere, I think what we'll do is we'll say if user.first equals user entry.first, right? Or do we even bother? Yeah, I think we don't. We can just set it, right? User dot second dot nickname equals nickname. But we need to do that after this other check, and we can get rid of that line. So if the new nickname was already in the room, well, hold on. Before I do this, let's see what's failing. Let's use the test as our guide. Oh, it actually failed a bunch of other tests. Well, let's stick to the one already in room, right? Actually, this shouldn't have broken, so I did something wrong. Oh, this should only do this. Oh, I see what the problem is. There might be a whole bunch of lurkers, so we only want to do this if it's not a lurker. If not nickname.empty. I suppose we only want to count, which means I only need to, I can do this up out here. Right? Let's see if that's what I broke. I know I broke something. No, that's not what it broke. Okay, let me just look at the tell test. Line 559. Bob joins the room, Alice joins the room, Bob peeks at the chat room member list and is expecting to see Alice and Bob and only sees Alice. Okay, so we got a set nickname result true, but it didn't show up in the room? Or is it this, where did Bob get changed to Alice? That might have been what happened. Well, I'm not exactly sure. So let's put a breakpoint here. And change it to plug in chat room plug-in tests. Let's peek into the room. Where's, oh, I actually can't see the room because it's a global. How about we'll capture it on the set nickname. Okay, the this of the room, right? Yes. 3 users. All set to Bob. Okay, that's a problem. When the first connection set their nickname to Bob, it set them for all 3. That's the problem. So oh, okay. You had the wrong variable there. That's the problem. There we go. So fix the thing I broke. So now we're back to just implementing this, changing nicknames correctly. Right. So if new nickname already in room and the old nickname is not empty, then I think we need to iterate through the users and say that if the user dot first is not equal to user entry first, then we send this response of the nickname changed, right? Oh no, we're already sending that. We don't need to do this. Oh no, this was this case. So yeah, it was this. Huh. I don't see the bug, so let's go where that error happens, 855, and I'll just step through and see what happens. It's this send text. Oh, is it because it didn't build? No, it's still a problem. Okay, go. And then at the beginning of the set nickname. So what's the room look like right now? 3 users, Bob, Lurker, Bob. Okay, yeah. So the nickname gets changed there. Lurker doesn't match. So there are two old nicknames in the room. Oh. Oops. So we already changed the nickname by this point. So we want the nickname change to go to everyone but the one that changed it. So it'll be if the if the first is not first not equal to user entry first. Because the user that changed the nickname knows that it changed through this nickname the success message. Hold on. Oh, I kind of don't like the fact that response is overloaded. Let's make this have a different name. So we'll just call it the way it is, set nickname result. There. I mean, it was working as it was, but I don't like the name to have two variables. Okay, so change nickname non-lurker to non-lurker not already in room works. Folding connections isn't working though, because we're not seeing the leave of Bob. So folding connections is where? Clear that, please. Yeah, the new nickname was already in the room, but the old nickname count is 1, I think. So it's these two conditions. It's empty. All right. Visitor at the door. Okay. She sometimes keeps barking until this can be constant. She sometimes keeps barking until they've left or she settles down. I think that's right. Okay, cool. Now we're down to one test failing, which is non-lurker back to lurker. Actually, is this test correct? I don't think it's correct. 1034. Yeah, we shouldn't see it. We shouldn't see a leave, should we? We should just see a set nick result. Let's make this test a little bit more aggressive. Set nickname to develop initially on 2 connections. This can move to here. That was a kid question that I had to answer. Okay. So I want one of the Bobs to become a lurker. Change nickname to do on one connection, but not the other. So the difference is we won't see Bob leave. We'll see a set nick result, but we won't see a leave. And we won't see that on even on the one that stayed as a lurker or the one that is still Bob. Right, so right now it's doing success false because it's it's requiring a password, I believe. Yes, so different logic if we have an empty nickname, right? So if nickname.empty, else if this, else it's false. Okay. Actually, I guess I didn't need this to be a counter after all. I can make that a bool. Elsewhere in room. And we just changed this to have two conditions in it. If user.first is not equal to user entry first. And that, and then this is true. And then we say this is not elsewhere. Then it's a leave, right? Okay. This logic is actually kind of complicated, isn't it? More complicated than I expected it to be. If the nickname is empty, then well, let's change that to new nickname. So it's not ambiguous because we're dealing with old and new. Okay. So if they're becoming a lurker, we only do something if, which would be a leave if they're not elsewhere in the room, right? And we need to clear their nickname and give them a success true, don't we? So we do this thing. We do that regardless. Okay, let's get the old nickname. Move that out here. We can move it at the top. And let's see. I guess we want to do this check before anyway. Yeah, so let's do the old nickname elsewhere in room first. Remove that, and then, so we're going to loop the users twice, actually. Or do we? Because we're also changing, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it is different. It's similar logic, but a little less. So it's no new nick already in room. We don't care. And yeah, here it is. Actually, what happens if they try to change the nickname and the nickname is not different? We should just kind of bail out, right? We should have a test for that. Change nickname. Change nickname non-lurker to non-lurker. Which it already was. We don't need to do this. We should, what? I guess we'll have a success. Because why not, right? But we'll expect nothing from anyone else. And no messages. And let's see. This is lurker to lurker, actually. Lurker to lurker. So it's like a no-op. Oh, hold on. Let's have both tests. So non-lurker to non-lurker. Non-lurker not changed. And then lurker to lurker. Okay, we can keep the on two connections thing. Change nickname to Bob. Not actually changed. So set nickname to Bob again. We ought to get a success, but then nothing at all from anyone. And no message, right? Anyway. Back to this, so. New nickname is empty. Actually, yeah, we want to keep that logic, don't we? Yeah, we don't do this, though. Yeah, so the thing is, we'll say if it was elsewhere, if it was not elsewhere, so we can break early, actually, from here. Then we send a leave. That's ripe for refactoring, isn't it? This bit of code should be like its own function. I kind of want to reserve. Whoa. Oh. My printer interrupted me with a pop-up. Okay, we're still getting an error. Okay, we're getting... Oh, because you have to say the same password. That was a bug in the test. Okay. 1094. Yeah, so this test is failing because we're getting a change from Bob to Bob, which shouldn't happen. Else if matches. Yeah, so this needs to be conditional. If old nickname is not equal to new nickname. And I think we'll have a similar problem up here, right? Yeah, if old nickname, if it's not empty. Okay. Down to one thing failing. 1160. Whoa, did I read that wrong? 1116. Okay, we're getting a message for the lurker changing their name. Or we're getting a leave. Okay, we shouldn't get a leave. I guess we could hack it, right? We can say... Well, no, let's not hack it. We'll just make it two conditions. If they're not lurking, if they weren't a lurker before, so if not old nickname empty, and it's not elsewhere in the room, then they left. There we go. So let's try it out in the real server. We switch this to run the web server, and then no breakpoints, right? So go. And there's the web server. And there's our app. Let's make another one. New window. So that needs to reload. Bob, connect. We'll connect to the lurker. So change to Bobby. Okay, that didn't quite work. Oh, I know why. I'm dumb. I am running the web server, but the web server has its own copy of its plugin. So before I run this web server, I got to copy web server chat room plugin DLL to web server debug plugins and override it. Yeah, it was running an old version of the chat room. Now let's try it again. So refresh. Connect as Bob. Connect as the lurker. Set name to Bobby. Yeah, I think this is because our chat client is not set up to handle the new messages. So I can show that if I look at the developer tools here. And I switch to network, and then let's say reload. Let's do it on both though. Developer tools network. So Bob. And then we'll just watch the... So set name to Bob. And then it sent. I get nicknames. Nickname result true. Okay, Bob's in the room. So connect. The frames here are get nicknames Bob. So that's now we changed it to Bobby. This one got to true. It should, yeah, the chat client should probably just remove Bob from the room at that point, right? Actually, how does it know? If you're in more than once, I think we should send this change new nickname. We should have it sent to the sender as well. Because the difference is here, I'll show you. If I disconnect on both, right? And then connect both as Bob. Connect. So now we're looking at a different chat. Now if I set one to Bobby, oh, interesting. And maybe I'm making this more complicated than it should be, because what I expected is this to change to Bobby, and this to change to Bob, and then Bob and Bobby should show up in both. Really, this should see a join of Bobby. Yeah, maybe we get rid of this set nickname thing, and we just make it join and leave. Because this should see, these should both see a join of Bobby. And then as soon as I set that to Bobby, both of these should see a leave of Bob. Right? And that actually shouldn't have worked at all. Oh, that's a bug in the client. That should have done nothing, which it did. Actually, that did look correct. Or did it? Yeah, I'm getting confused. I think this set nickname thing is a problem. Let me change my design to make it more straightforward. So let's update the test to reflect the new design. So nickname non-lurker to non-lurker already in room, because that was a special. No, that's not a special one. Bob initially in two separate connections. Change nickname to Bobby. Right. Instead of this nickname change, we should just see a join. Nickname Bobby. Yeah, let's make it very simple. We'll expect to see response 2 on the first one as well. And we'll make the joins in the web app actually update the list here. And the join and the leave will update this, will strictly be used to update this list. And the set nickname result is basically, so until we get that back, we won't let them try to change it again. Yeah, so that's one. That's still correct. Fold to connections, actually. Set nickname to Bob on 1. Nickname to Bobby on 2nd. Change nickname from Bob to Bobby. So, yeah, that's correct. But we'll see the leave on both. Actually, did I have the order right in the first one? No. The set nickname result's always last. Okay, that's fold to connections. Non-lurker to non-lurker already in room. So Bob on 2. Set nickname to Bobby initially on a 3rd. Change nickname from Bob to Bobby. I think this doesn't change. You don't get any notification from, except for the result on the one that did the change. Non-lurker to lurker. Bob on 2. One of them becomes a lurker. Yeah, that's fine. Change nickname non-lurker. Not changed. Okay, that's still correct. Lurker to lurker. Yeah, okay. So I think this is what I want. Yeah, okay. Right. So now let's get the code to to match. So yeah, the first one is the join. So this ought to simplify our code a bit. So this is where non-lurker to non-lurker not already in room will see a join. So new nicking is not empty. We want to send it to everybody, basically. Oh, that was the wrong one. It was this one. And it's not a... It's actually a join in both cases, isn't it? So we simplified by folding those two together. And then we should just send it to everyone. Okay, yeah. So we're going to see a bunch of extra joins. So 368. I think that's fine, though. We'll just update our test to reflect that. 368. So there are going to be two messages. The first one will be a join. And the second one will be the set result. Okay, next. 411 in the tests, 411. It's the same thing, isn't it? So move these expectations here. Okay, next test. We're down to 6 fails. 493. Okay, it's the same deal. So this is updated to that. 536. Same thing, yeah. So all these are the same issue, is that we get an extra join now. Okay, it's still failing, but somewhere else. 559. Okay, yeah, Alice joins the room. So same kind of thing. So this is a join, nickname Alice. Alice sees both. All right. Okay, down to 4. 631. Same thing as before. So this extra join. 631. All right here. $666. Uh-oh. Mark of the beast. Alice joins the room. Expect Bob to see a message about Alice joining. Expect both Alice and Bob to see a message about Alice joining. All right, so that becomes a 2 because we want Alice to see the set name result. Yes. Down to 3. So this is the leave. 687. Bob, yep, same thing. It's a setup issue. I'm sort of being doing these checks redundantly. I don't need to, do I? Oh, I think I need to. Ice cream truck is here, so dog's gonna bark for a while. I'm gonna put us on a short break. All right, I'll be back in like five minutes. I am back. Sorry about that, guys. But when the ice cream truck rolls by, everything else around here comes to a standstill. That's how important ice cream is. Okay. We were fixing this test up, right? $7.10. Right, Alice is going to get the join. Yeah, so Alice is going to get a join in addition to a set Nick result. Okay. 613. Oh, we're still seeing a problem. What is it? Oh, I forgot to update that. Okay, so 807. Down to these last two tests. So oh, setting the nickname in the trailer, right? So it's the same kind of thing. We're going to have two. Yeah, it's the same thing. These two things. 807 here. Down to one. One test. 967. Changed. Okay. Holding two connections together, right? So set nickname to Bob. Bobby in the second. Change Bob to Bobby. Okay. We will. Yeah, we should expect to see Bobby leave. What are we seeing? Or not? Okay, this is in the code, right? So it's on the leave. If the new nickname is empty, it's this check here, right? We send the leave to everyone. Okay, that looked like a test failure thing. Oh, we're not getting the leave. Still not getting the leave. Hmm. It should have gone. Did I not build that? I did build it. Let me step through that. Whenever I don't see why something's failing, I usually will step through it. So let's see. Chat room plugin tests. Go. And then put the breakpoint in the set nickname. Go. New nickname is Bobby. Oh. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong place in the code. Old nickname elsewhere in the room false. Yeah, okay, it's this. That's the troublesome line. Okay. Okay, that passes all our tests. Now, let me overwrite the copy of the plugin for the web server here. And then we'll run the web server. Set as startup project go. There's our web server. So 2 React apps, and let me update things I know I need to change here in the web app itself. So we need to make it a little bit different. On set nickname result, right? We don't want to do this updating of the nicknames. That might be the only thing we need to change. Okay, so connect this one as Bob. Oh, I had a breakpoint. Okay, Bob. Connect this one. Let's just start off with it is Lurker. So then we change to Bobby. Okay, that should have gotten a leave. Okay, so that's not quite right. We should have seen Bob leave and Bobby join. We saw Bobby join, but we didn't see a Bob leave. I bet if I turn that back to Bob, it'll have the same problem, right? In fact, we see a, yeah, it's the same problem. So we're not seeing the leaves. If I disconnect though, we see a Bob leave. Okay. So that, we need a unit test for that. Hold on. Oh, never mind. It kept hitting Control C, and I'm not seeing the break, but it actually was hitting the breakpoint. Oh, we have a bug. Let's do that. Let's look at that bug. Abort was called. Why? Abort has been called. Why did abort get called? An @exit destructor throw something. Oh, it was still running a thread. Why was it still running a thread? Huh. It should not have stopped. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that is a problem. So our room's destructor stop a thread right now? Let's see. Chat. Okay, there is no. Okay, it's room. We don't have a destructor. Is that because the room? Yeah, it should have joined the worker thread. Was stop not called? It should have when it unloaded it. What does the output window show? I guess it's still unloading. What are the threads showing? Huh. I wonder if it's because I hit Control C multiple times. Maybe. Maybe that's what's causing it. Let me put that on the notes to investigate later. Investigate strange crash in chat room plugin deal cleanup @exit cleanup, really. When Control C, possibly caused by repeated Control C. Oh, hi there, Not Zane. How's it going? Yeah, this one's a weird one. I think strange things happen if you send signals repeatedly, and I was hitting Control C and not seeing that it had already hit a breakpoint. And I think what the shell does is it just kills the process. And that might be doing strange things that I really can't do anything about. So if that's the case, I'll just make a note saying to stop the web server, just send it at one Control C and don't just kill the process. Okay, so the bug that we saw is we're not seeing a leave when the last user using a nickname leaves. So that should have been this leave, right? No, it's a set change nickname lurker, non-lurker to lurker. Okay, this is non-lurker to lurker 2 connections. So yeah, I think we do have a bug, and it's because we don't have a test case to catch it. So let's duplicate that test case, and we'll call this one two connections, and this other one connection. All right. So the one connection will be set nickname on one connection. Change nickname to that, become a lurker. Right, so in addition to that, we should see a leave. Type leave, nickname Bob. And we should see Bob leave on all. On all of the connections. And Bob himself sees the extra set nickname result. So I bet that's failing. It's not? Okay, now I'm kind of confused. Let's see what actually happens when we run. Oh, yeah, okay. Run the real web server. We'll recreate that situation. Connect as Bob. And then connect as a lurker. And then I'm going to clear that. Oh, we do see a leave. Oh, okay, I'm looking at the wrong test. It was not that we become a lurker, it's that we change our nickname. Yeah. So let's try this. And so single control C, go. Yeah, so it doesn't crash. It had something to do with multiple control C's. So we need a better test case. It's change nickname non-lurker to non-lurker. Yeah, this is the test case, right? Oh, this is on two connections. So duplicate that test case. Two connection non-lurker, single connection non-lurker. So it's this one. Initially on one connection. Change nickname to Bobby. So we will see, yeah, we will see 3 actual messages, right? A leave of Bob, join of Bobby. Hold on. Let me clean this up. So this one is really 3. That's 1. I'll just put a 1 there. So 1, 2, 3, and these other ones will just be 2 and 3. What happened here? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's only 1 Bob connection now, so we'll only have 1 expected response. Okay, this should fail. Because the leave isn't being sent. Yeah, the leave is missing, so let's fix that. So new nickname is not empty, so it's not that. If new nickname already in the room. If it's, yeah, okay. I think it's this one right here. Oh, no, it's this else. I guess it's this logic should just be moved out, right? Because we want it in either case. And then this becomes as simple as that. That's probably what we need. No? Oh, is it just the order is different? Yeah, instead of join set Nick result. Oh, they no, the expectations are wrong. I think 970. Oh yeah, it's 1 and 2, not 2 and 3. Test wrong. Test right now. Okay, cool. So copy that plugin and then run the server and load up our chat clients. Let's refresh them so that we get a clean thing here. Bob joins. Anonymous joins. Then we will set it to Bobby. Oh, look at that. And what if we change it back to anonymous? Now it doesn't look like anyone's in the room. Cool. So Bob, and let's have Bob join again. Cool. And when we change one to Bobby, they're both in the room. Change it back to Bob. Oh, okay. That shouldn't have happened. Bob shouldn't have joined if he was already in the room. So let me recreate that. So disconnect. Bob and Bobby. And change this one to Bobby. And then here's where we'll start watching, because that changes back to Bob, right? And then to Bobby. There's what happened. So what happened here? We should have seen Bob leave, but not Bobby join. Okay, I'm confused. So starting over again. Bob. Bobby. Change that one to Bobby. Set nickname result just. Okay, Bob leaves. Nickname changed true. Bob left. Okay, so then put it back to Bob. Bob joins. And then Bobby again. Bobby, no, that's the one that shouldn't have happened. It should have just been Bob leave. Okay, so hold on. Disconnect, reload, Bob connect, Bobby connect, change to Bobby, change back to Bob, and then here's where I'm going to capture what's happening. So in the plugin, breakpoint on set nickname, set. Old nickname is Bob. New nickname is Bobby. So it finds Bobby. So it's not a oh no, it found Bobby and the nickname it wasn't empty. So it's going to look through the users in the room. There are two users, Bob and Bob. Right. Wait a minute. No, that's not right. I think I see the problem. It's changing. If it thinks two users are using the same account, it's changing the nickname on both. Yeah. So I think I can recreate this bug. It's on the two connections, non-lurker to not-lurker, not already in room one, right? Bob on two connections, change one to Bobby. Okay, this is the thing that shouldn't happen. I changed this design. So verified nickname of Bob is changed only for one connection, not the other. Because otherwise it's just too complicated. So this should say what? 0 became Bobby and 2 is still Bob. So this, the hey guys should come from Bob. So there's the bug. The second Bob became Bobby when the first connection changed their nickname. So new nickname empty. New nickname not empty. I think it's this new nickname already in room stuff. I think, yeah, it's actually this one, right? We don't want to do that. Right? We don't want to change the nickname everywhere. Yeah, so that's what it was. It's funny, sometimes I think of what the requirements should be when I'm running the unit test, but then when I run the actual use case, I expect something different. Okay, reload, Bob, Bobby. So let's change that one. So Bob becomes Bobby, so Bob should leave. This one turns back to Bob, Bob joins. That one turns back to Bobby, Bobby leaves. Okay, good. Cool. And let's make a third connection. Okay, guys, can you see all that? Let's have this one also join as Bobby. So we see that now when this disconnects, Bobby didn't leave the room, but if I disconnect here, then Bobby leaves the room. Cool. All right. Hello? So now Bobby can send through either chat window. Cool. All right. Okay, working as expected, I think. Okay. Okay, let's check that in because that was what? This. Yes. Too much time spent on that bug, actually. I thought I would be averaging like 15 minutes per bug, but it's turning out to be more time than I thought. Okay, web server. So there are a lot of changes revolving around joining and leaving. So how did the code actually change? Okay, actually, this is fixing more bugs than I thought. I think some of these bugs I ended up fixing incidentally. So let's say what we did. We'll list them. Fix bugs in. Whoa, sorry about that. That is a. Looks like it's a. What do you call it? Spam call. Fix bugs in chat room. Actually, I'm gonna set my phone to vibrate. That's what I'm gonna do. Fix bugs in chat room. First one was changing nickname should result in leave if not logged in with the same nickname elsewhere, and then a join if not already logged in with the new nickname elsewhere. And then I think I incidentally changed some of these other ones. We haven't done that one yet. Actually, I don't think that this is a bug. I actually think we want to keep that. Okay, lurkers who leave should not trigger a leave message. Oh, we haven't done that one actually. We should have a test for that. Lurkers should not be able to send tells. Yeah. Okay, I guess we didn't change those other things. So it's really just fix join leave issues in chat room. That's all we did for the last hour and a half. That's cool though. And what's this change in the root? Oh, that's the chatter. I kept calling it chatty, but mine app's called chatter, not chatty. Chatty's something else. Chatter. Don't add to nicknames list when changing nickname, because we rely on the join and leave messages to do that. Okay, this next one is, I think I'm going to nix that one. The idea is that in the chat room's implementation, there is a structure called account that holds on to the password. And every time a nickname is used, it establishes a new account. And this bug was saying if you change it, it should rename the account nickname. But I think actually changing a nickname should be like logging in as a different user. So we do want to make a new account every time or reuse the new account. So I'm just gonna nix this one. How do we do this? Strikeout. There we go. Lurkers who leave should not trigger a leave message to others. So let's see if this still happens actually. Yes, so run the server. There it is. Reload, check in. We'll just connect in. The bug here is where if I disconnect from one, before you would see a leave of empty string. So that's not actually happening. So it's not an issue. Or we can think of it as we fixed it incidentally. So yeah, we fixed it incidentally, I think. So if we become a lurker and then we disconnect, oh, it is sending the leave twice. So it's still sort of a problem. Oh, sorry, I screwed up here. I changed that and then I hit disconnect. Really, what I really want to do is hit set and then disconnect. Oh, it's still doing it. Seeing the leave twice. Interesting. I wonder why we're seeing the leave a second time, because connect. The moment I do that, the list is empty, right? So why would it? Oh, hold on. I think I might know. I think the user might have an associated account, and that's not being cleared. So that is a bug. I bet we can catch it in the debugger. In the leave user. User leave, what is it called? Remove user? One of these. Remove user, right? It's supposed to, okay, not there, but right, this one. where it gets this nickname. Well, okay, let's see this in action. So, disconnect. Yeah, it's still set to Bob. Why is it still set to Bob? That shouldn't have happened. So let's look at users. It's this one, I think. No? Hold on. Something's not right here. It's like the wrong user disconnected. Oh, no. I see what the bug really is. Both. Yeah, okay. Let me illustrate. This lurker became Bob when this lurker changed to Bob, so that's the problem. So if I disconnect both, connect both, and then change that one to Bob, the lurkers both lurkers become Bob accidentally. So that's in set nickname. Set. So here we go. Old nickname is empty. It's a lurker. Becomes Bob. Yeah, see, hold on. Actually, maybe that's not the problem.